Have you ever seen your mum going out for drinks with a guy friend? I don't think so. What about your dad going out on a Saturday with a girlfriend? Never happened. Can men and women be friends, and should they even be friends? Throughout this video, I'm going to break down 10 common sense reasons why I believe men and women cannot truly be friends. I'm also going to cover 7 principles regarding male to female bonds that you can apply to your life. And I will also touch on an article which I have here from my relationship community. I'll leave the links down below for both things in the description. And with that said, let's get into it. I'm going to wish you all as well a happy new year, 2025. This is the first video of the year. Some of you may be new, some of you may be long-term followers. Regardless, I want to thank you all for helping me hit 8,000 subscribers on the Relearning Relationships channel. And yeah, let's start. I'm a little bit sick, I'll let you know. I've been under the weather, so if I cough, sneeze, or blow my nose, you've been warned. But with that said, let's get into it. The first reason why it's just common sense that men and women cannot really be friends is because attraction is always going to be lingering. Men and women are made for each other, and on some level, whether it's physical, and they don't have to be exactly your type. They can just be objectively attractive. Or emotional attraction. You trust them, you share the same values, maybe the girl's very feminine, she makes you laugh. Even if it's unspoken, this lingering tension makes it difficult to maintain a purely platonic relationship. So why shouldn't men and women do this? Because if either the man or woman secretly desires the other one more, then that friendship is not built on a real foundation. It's not a real friendship. And that's really what happens in most of these cases. I mean, there's a reason why back in the day there was an all-boys school and an all-girls school. And what's happened now in the modern world is we've lumped boys and girls together. So they grow up, and it's like when you're 5-10 years old, you can be male, you can be friends. But what about when your hormones ramp up and you're a teenager? And now men and women realize for the first time that, wait a minute, these boys, we're different from each other. We find each other attractive. That there's a different way to communicate and interact with each other. And this is where all of these problems start to come. Because a lot of men and women are not taught from their parents or the school system that there's a different way to interact with boys and girls. And they try and learn their own way. And oftentimes they just think that carrying or transitioning from a platonic friendship to an intimate romantic relationship is the way to go. And it's not the best way to go. So starting out as friends it's deception. Secondly, the second reason is a risk of mixed signals. Okay, simple actions like a compliment or an offer to hang out can be misinterpreted as romantic interest. If you really like a girl and you're not sure if she does, and she just compliments you, oh, by the way, nice jacket you're wearing, or oh, that's so cool, and she's just trying to be a friend. For the young guys watching, maybe you're a teen or your early 20s, at college, at school, and that happens, you might think, oh, she really likes me. Some people are just being friendly and polite. So why shouldn't you get involved? Because misunderstandings can lead to awkwardness, hurt feelings, or even the end of a friendship, which is a good thing. And now I'm going to touch on that article because it relates to this second point of risk of mixed signals. So in this article here, which again will be linked down below in the description, it mentions that the results suggest large gender differences in how men and women experience opposite sex friendships. Men are much more attracted to their female friends than vice versa. Men were also more likely to think than women to think that their opposite sex friends were attracted to them. A clearly misguided belief. In fact, men's estimates of how attractive they were to their female friends had virtually nothing to do with how these women actually felt, and almost everything to do with how the men themselves felt about themselves. So basically, the average male typically assumes that any romantic attraction they experienced was mutual, but they were blind to the actual level of romantic interest felt by their female friends. But women too were blind to the mindset of the men, because women generally are not attracted to male friends. So they assumed that the lack of attraction was mutual. Both were projecting in different ways. And as a result, men consistently overestimated the level of attraction felt by their female friends, and a woman consistently underestimated the level of attraction felt by their male friends. This is something that I've seen. I've observed this when I went to school, college, you name it. I've seen it all. And usually that's what most guys did. They try and be friends with a girl, the girl doesn't really like him, but because women are more agreeable and softer, they'll try and be friends out of being polite. And the guy thinks, oh, I have a chance. There obviously are other cases where a woman really attracted to a guy and he's not, and he'll try and be friends because it's societal norm, right? Boys and girls grow up together, you can be buddies, and the guy doesn't think twice. But it's usually the man who projects his interest onto a woman and she's not interested. So what happens is the mixed signals. And that's something that you can avoid by just being straightforward with a woman. Hey, you approach a girl you like. If she rejects you, walk away. If she wants to get to know you, great. But going down the friendship route is just a waste of your time. The third reason why men and women cannot truly be friends is jealousy in relationships. And it's justifiable. Romantic partners often feel uncomfortable with opposite sex friendships, questioning motives or boundaries. Why shouldn't you do it? Because maintaining such friendships can create unnecessary tension or mistrust in romantic relationships. This is a role I have in my life. I mean, me and my woman, we don't have friends of the opposite sex because it's not real. It just doesn't happen, and it would be disrespectful. You know, to go out of your way to have friends of the opposite sex in a relationship or marriage is weird. But for you people who are single, the role you can implement is just to not have them. Don't foster those bonds. And one of the first things you should do when you meet a woman, or ladies when you meet a guy, is do you have any members of the opposite sex? And that can tell you a lot about someone. Because the more masculine a man is, he's only going to want male friends. And the more feminine a woman is, she only wants female friends. Okay, when you're smart emotionally speaking, your emotional intelligence is wise. You know this stuff, but some people just need to be taught, and that's why I make this video. You can avoid all that jealousy by just not being close to the opposite sex. Not to mention the amount of times people cheat with a guy he was just a friend, or she was just a friend, or I've known them for years, they're not a problem. One thing leads to another. Number 4, emotional dependency. Opposite sex friends often become emotionally dependent on each other. The closer you get to someone, you inevitably end up opening up, talking more about your past, about who you are, your secrets, things that have happened to you, thus deepening the bond. This can blur lines, especially during vulnerable moments. Why shouldn't men and women do this? Because emotional closeness can lead to feelings of exclusivity or even romantic attachment. I remember there was a girl in college, really sweet girl, innocent, virgin, all the rest. And she got close to some guy, a guy friend, and they'd go out in a group, but they would always go off and talk, and they really liked each other. And I grew up in Spain, right? So she was an English-speaking girl, so just out of being polite, I'd have a few conversations with her. And she'd tell me, me and this guy, I don't really like him, but we're just friends. And I said, I'd be careful if I were you. I don't do female friends, and I think you shouldn't do guy friends. You need to stay away from that guy. A couple of weeks later, I see her sitting there crying, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, you know what, Christian, you're actually right. I got close to that guy, one thing led to another, we went out, we started drinking, and we had sex. I gave him my virginity, now he wants nothing to do with me. He was just trying to be my friend to get to me. Oh, well, there you go. And now she has to tell her future husband down the road, if she's so honest, that, hey, I lost my virginity to a guy friend because of a stupid choice I made. Prevention is better than cure, and that's the business I'm in. So, getting close to the opposite sex can lead to stuff like this, and it gets messy. And this is stuff you can avoid. It doesn't have to happen. Number 5 is social stigma. This one's common sense. People around you, family, friends, co-workers often assume, and rightfully so, or spread rumours about romantic involvement. That boy and girl who are friends from a young age, oh, you look like a couple. And why shouldn't you do this? Because even having to constantly explain or defend a friendship, it can cause a strain. Not only on that relationship, but on your relationships as a whole. And oftentimes, this is where young people often realise, maybe that girl is already attracted to me. Or maybe that guy, the girls start to think, maybe that guy is very into me. Because if a man and a woman let's assume for the sake of it, are just friends and there's like no sexual desire, other people would notice that and they wouldn't even bring it up. So if people have to bring it up, they can often tell that one or the other is deeply attracted. Be very careful. The sixth reason is inequality in intentions. One person might see the friendship as platonic, while the other is waiting for the right time to make a romantic move. And this is often what guys do. Oh yeah, I'm going to be a friend. I'll really show what a good guy I am. I'll be a shoulder to cry on and a dick to ride on, as they say. Why shouldn't you do this? This imbalance leads to dishonesty and an unfair dynamic. It's not genuine. It's such a waste of time, and it's like it causes so many trust issues. Number 7, time spent together. Spending time together naturally fosters deeper emotional bonds, which can transition into romantic feelings. Why shouldn't you do it? Because if you're investing so much time, why not just focus on a romantic partner? Actually finding a woman you like, who likes you back. Or just build same-sex friendships. Make some guy friends. Make some buddies. Common sense. This is such a waste of your time. Number 8, hormonal influence. So obviously hormones can definitely play tricks in your feelings, especially in close male to female friendships. Even if unintentionally, attraction can happen unexpectedly. And the girl may not necessarily be your type. You may not necessarily be her type. I remember there was one case back at school. A boy and a girl, they were friends for years growing up. And I think it was the senior year of school, they became a couple. Only lasted for a couple of months. Why? Because he was into her, she wasn't into him. But because she's been so close to him over the years, she thought, I guess I'll give him a chance. So emotionally they had a bond, but physically she didn't desire him, and it just didn't work out. Chemistry wasn't mutual. So there's that trick being played on you. Hormonally, you're around male to female, the pheromones are being released, you're kind of close. But see, it turned a harmful friendship into an emotional, physical mess. And then after that, they never spoke again. They couldn't even be friends again, which goes to show they should have never been friends to begin with, because men and women shouldn't be. Number 9, lack of boundaries. Without clear boundaries, physical or emotional closeness can easily escalate to something inappropriate. Why shouldn't this happen? Well, crossing lines can lead to regret, and it can damage trust in friendship or other relationships. This can lead to damaged reputation even as a whole. Why take the risk? Why waste your time even doing this? Number 10, inevitability of change. Life stages. Like one friend entering a serious relationship, marriage or parenthood often strain or end male-female friendships. Why shouldn't you do this? Investing in a friendship that likely won't last through life's major changes is a sign that it's not even worth the effort. And this is something you usually see with young couples. Maybe you have a girlfriend that you grew up with, or the girl has a guy friend she knew from years past, but once you get into a relationship and you grow close, those guy or girlfriends end up just fading away. Because it's not meant to be a friendship. So those are the 10 common sense reasons why male to female friendships are a waste of time, and why they shouldn't happen. And so the 7 principles I would recommend regarding male to female bonds is this. Men and women can and should be friendly, cordial and respectful towards each other, but there should be boundaries in place to protect single men and women from mixed signals, time wasted, and hearts from being broken. The first thing is, I believe men and women should only focus on same-sex friendships. This cuts out the middleman and all the drama. As a guy, only foster guy friends, which is going to make you more masculine. Likewise, for a woman, if you're a woman watching, a feminine woman is going to want to be around feminine women. Okay? Every time I've seen cases where guys want to have lots of girlfriends or girls want to have lots of guy friends, these are typically men and women with either very low self-esteem, they're disingenuous, they're cunning, right? They don't have pure intentions, or they're not all the way masculine or feminine, right? They don't have a strong sense of identity, so they're trying to find it in the opposite gender and being close to them. It's a mess. So cut out the middleman. Number 2, be friendly, be cordial, and be respectful to the women in your social circle. For example, maybe it's a woman that's from a family friend. Maybe it's an associate, whether it's a co-worker, a secretary, a woman you know from close proximity, who lives down the road, and you wave, shake that, you wave, or don't shake the hand. Like, you wave and you say hi, or how are you? But you keep it at that. Maybe you have a friend who's got a girlfriend or a wife. You can, when you're around them, you say hi, how are you? But you don't go off and do one-on-one stuff. You know, I have a friend, he's been with his girlfriend for like 10 years. Not 10 or 10 years. 10 years, I think it is. We all went to law school together. But it's like, I'm his friend. Yeah, she's his girl. I wouldn't go off one-on-one and have a coffee with her, would I? Excuse my French. You know, I'll say, hi, how are you? And I'll speak with her in the honesty of his presence. Anything else would be disrespectful and weird. So it's a clear boundary I recommend you set. Maybe your girl, for you guys watching, if you're in a relationship, you have the woman in your life, she's got girlfriends. If she introduces you to them, you can say, hi, how are you, ladies? But you keep it at that. You don't sit there and invite him out for coffee one-on-one and you message him privately, how are you, unless you're planning a surprise birthday party for your girl. Have boundaries, okay? The third point, avoid one-on-one time with women you don't desire. If you do not find a woman attractive, she's not really your type, don't try and be friends with her because you feel sorry for her. Whether she likes you back or not, if you don't like her, walk away. Okay? Number two. The fourth point, avoid one-on-one time with women you know are in a relationship or marriage. If you're single or you're married, I do not care. If you know she is taken, you should not be going out of your way to get close to a woman. If you work with a woman like this and she's trying to get close to you and you know she's in a relationship or married, walk away. Avoid, minimize, keep it a very basic conversation, but leave it at that. And the next thing is, avoid women you do not desire who try to be friends with you. This can happen. Some girls, if they really like you, they will try and be your friend. Obviously, you've got to be a really handsome guy for this to happen, but it's happened. It's happened to me. It's happened to clients. I've seen it happen. You reject a girl and she's like, oh, but we can be friends. And you're like, I'm not interested in being friends. Oh, but we can still be friends though. She does what she wants. And it's you. And you're responsible for the quality of women you let into your life. So cut them off. Do not let them in. If you do not desire a woman, you don't have the intention to want to get to know her, and she likes you, do the right thing and say, look, I wish you all the best, and cut her off. Don't let her be your friend, because if you settle or you don't really find a woman you like, and this girl really starts working on being kind and showing you how feminine she is, you might just lower your standard, and your friendship turns into a relationship, and you've settled. The next, second to last, avoid women that you desire who attempt to friend zone you. So if you've extended an invitation or you ask a girl out and she's like, nah, I'm not interested, but we can be friends though. Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Save your dignity and move on, man. And finally, avoid any closeness with women who claim to be in a relationship but are seeking to be friends. Okay, this is different to the one I mentioned before. Whereas, yes, avoid one-on-one time with women you know are in a relationship or marriage. Because why do you need to be friends with a woman who's in a relationship or married? Because maybe you're a single guy. You're like, oh, she's really attractive. I'll try and talk to her. I'll be sweet with her. What does it say about a woman if she wants to be close with you and she's in a relationship or marriage? Probably doesn't respect her husband or herself. Walk away. But if a woman specifically wants to be friends with you when you know she's in a relationship or marriage, she's probably looking to cheat on the husband with you. She's probably an adulterer in the making. Stay away. Stay away from these vultures. Those are the principles that I recommend, that I've applied, and it just keeps me safe, and it should keep you safe too. And that's it. Those are really my common sense reasons why men and women can't be friends. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And just to end the video, I'll go over a few comments that one of my clients left from my community under the post of why men and women can't be friends. And he said, you've really summarized these articles well, and yes, men and women cannot be friends, not just based on findings of the article, but also my own experiences. Here are a few from personal cases which I can claim. My mother was a pretty girl in her youth. She had a lot of male friends, and she openly told me that all of them were flirtatious with her and they all wanted a relationship with her. My sister has a few guy friends. Every guy friend she has had so far was either gay or attracted to her, and also gay. She recently got a male friend in the gym and one at work. She says she's attracted to them and views them as potential mates after leaving her past relationships. She does, however, have one male friend who was originally her boyfriend's friend, whom she managed to date with one of her girlfriends. My roommate has a lot of female friends. What kind of friendships are those, one may ask? Friends with benefits. I've got a lot of male friends who hang out with girls. They think the girls like them, say that they're dating, even though the girls knows nothing about them. They get attached to them and then they get broken up with before they even have a mutual relationship. So these guys are delusional. As we covered in the article, these guys get into their head that the girl likes them, and no, she doesn't. This one stings. The girl I loved for 2 years turned out not to be a virgin. He's talking about his ex. She lost her virginity at 14 with a childhood friend 3 years older than her. She was in a very unstable place at the time, and he took advantage of that. She said she never found him attractive, never enjoyed it, and broke up with him, but the damage had already been done. He's just a friend. I personally too always get some feelings of female friends and felt that she was hitting on me, even the ones who had a boyfriend. They're touchy and laugh and just seem flirty. Might be true, might not be true. So yeah, that's my view on it. So yeah, I'm sure most of you have other common sense reasons, but I think the principle stands. Men and women, you just be friendly, be respectful, but at the end of the day, a woman, if she's beautiful, let her have a close bond with a woman or the man in her life. It shouldn't be you if you're not the one for her. You know, trying to be male to female friends for the sake of it just doesn't end well. With that said, that's been the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. I'll leave the links down below to join the community, and also if you're somebody who wishes to book a call, I'll leave that down below as well. And yeah, with that said, hope you all have a wonderful day. Again, Happy New Year to all of you, and I'll see you all in the next one.